Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
We're going to talk about Libertalia Winds of Galecrest, and neither of us have played the original version, so does that matter to you? Do you care?
Libertalia is a asymmetric action selection draft game.
I don't know if asymmetric is the right word.
Oh, I'm sorry, I mean symmetric. See,
I was like, what?
Asymmetric. No, so you have symmetric hands where only one person shuffles their deck. They draw a hand of cards, and then they tell everyone what numbers they drew.
Yeah.
And everyone draws the same hand of cards, and then you each pick a card to play, and they line up and they trigger based on player order and what numbers on the card.
Right. So whenever we pick a card and we flip them up, we'll put them here in number order. Right, and going ascending will trigger abilities on the card, and then going descending will draft tokens that are worth various number of points.
You could hypothetically play the same card as somebody every single time, which happened to us quite a bit.
Happened a little bit, yeah.
Especially because starting off, you have a fairly small hand, and your hand kind of gets bigger as the game progresses.
Because you draw 6 cards every round, but the first round there's only 4. You only play 4.
Yeah.
And the second round you draw 6 more, so you have 8 cards, and then you play 5. Right, and also some of the all the abilities in the cards are pretty wacky. You can get cards back in your hand and stuff like that. But also the fact that everybody else may or may not have the same hand is kind of part of it, because it'll be like, wait, did you play your
I know what's in your hand, so I know this card could counter this card, so you have to kind of keep track of what they've played.
And then I'll be like, oh, I'm going to play this card, and I'm going to take something from my discard pile back in my hand. What'd you take? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I do appreciate that, and when you play the cards, they go onto your ship for that round, and some of them have lasting abilities, some things let you re-trigger cards that are already in your ship, or even like you said, because at the end of each round, they all... is it graveyard? That ship dies?
Maybe.
You have to go get a new
Something
crew.
Like that.
That crew all leaves and you get a new crew, but you can go back and resurrect some of those crew back onto your ship.
But they're really interesting abilities, because some of them have really bad abilities right when you play them, but if you still have them in your ship at the end of the round, you get really good stuff.
Or they have really good abilities, but really bad stuff happens. It'll be get 7 coins right now, but lose 10 coins at the end of the round.
Right.
Now, there are other cards in the game or other tokens that may let you get rid of that guy before the end of the round.
So you could be like, I'm going to play him now, and then I'm going to get that hook later, and then someone's like, well, I see that you have that in your ship.
Yeah.
I'm taking that hook, bro.
And because they know what cards are in play, they know, it's pretty easy to see, oh, that's your plan. Obviously, if you put that down, that's your plan. So it's very take that in that sense.
Yeah. There is strategy to it, but it's way more of a social game than you would think initially. Yeah. It's definitely play the players, not the game, and it's kind of beer and pretzelsy, you can't take it too seriously.
It was lighter than I thought it was going to be when I sat down to play it, especially for a Stonemaier game.
And we played it on the stormy side, so there's 2 sides of this board. There's this side. I mean, they literally look like a lighter side and a darker side. So in theory, you don't actually even have to play with that, because there are these tiles that are cloudy side and stormy side, because I think I'm holding an Automa one. But there's regular side and cloudy side, so you can actually mix and match on your board. But last time we played on the really nasty side, where things hurt you a lot more and stuff. So it really felt like you can't take it personally type of thing.
Yeah, and that was probably my one negative with the game, and it's kind of the nature of the game in game it's not a take that game, but there's a lot of take that in the game, in the social aspect to it. And so part of what you do is you draft these tiles. Some of the tiles are bad, so if you're stuck getting a bad tile, that sucks. But there's also ways to draft more than one tile, so it's also possible that you just don't get a tile. But
also, if you play a really low number, you probably know you're not going to get a tile, or you're going to be stuck with a bad one, right? Yeah. So there's a little bit of at least cursory knowledge ahead of it,
Yeah, but there are things in the game that don't feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's probably that. Just know that going into it, that it's not pure strategy. It's not gonna be you're gonna get intense just because it's the nature of take that games. Mm-hmm. But at some points, you can't take it too seriously.
Yeah, which is what I've been saying this whole video. Overall, I do really like it. I think the production quality is really great. These Azul-like tiles. We're laughing because an inside joke with our friend Greg, who is
We're not going to
awful.
tell it to you, but...
He said, no. Right when we were done playing, like 2 nights ago, he goes, I like it. It's very Azul-like. And we all just kind of stopped and stared at him like, the f*** are you talking about, man? He's like, no, it's kind of like Azul. I'm like, because these pieces? And he was like, yeah.
I do really appreciate the tokens to mix and match the board. So, like, you can play, like, obviously the two sides are kind of the nature of the game. Like, hey, play it this way and this way. And then once you get a good feel for it, like, build it however you want. Like, oh, I like this ability. I don't like that ability. So you can kind of build out, you know, a more or less take that game almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can curtail it to the way you like it. I like these little treasure chests just to mark your coins in between rounds. They almost really didn't need to do this, but it just makes it cooler. You know?
So I think that part of that is so that your coins at the end, once the round ends, those coins are locked in.
Yeah,
like,
so you can't lose them from other things.
You can't go below.
But it could have been like a
number.
pad of paper or something, you know? It could have been like just push those coins off to the side and get new coins or something. But they went the cool thematic extra mile.
Now,
whatever.
Speaking of thematic, I didn't really care for the like anthropomorphic pirate characters. That's going to do it for some people.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I would just rather have cartoon pirates or serious pirates.
The barkeep is a person.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Overall, I really enjoy this game. I get that it's not going to be for everybody. It's especially, like you said, being a Stone Mountain game, people are going to be like, oh, Viticulture, Scythe, Wingspan, this sounds great. Again, the people who don't know the original version, like us, right? Like, again, Wes sat down not knowing what to expect. It's not going to be for every gamer, but I do think this is going to hit more people. Like, I could introduce this to more new gamers. Like, I could play this with a lot of people in my family, some of my older nieces and nephews and stuff. Like, this is a good party game. Beer and pretzels, man. Get drunk.
Yeah, I thought it was...
Smoke weed.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I probably have a little bit less positive view on it than Tom does. For no reason in particular than I think Tom just enjoys that kind of game more than I would. So nothing necessarily against the game. Just, I'm going to grab this off the shelf less than Tom is.
And it's going to be on my shelf, so way less than I'm going to grab it. We're going to put a link... You can purchase this game through the link that's going to be down there. It's going to be for this game specifically. When you click on it, it's going to go to a website. The website's called Amazon.com. You're going to need to put the game in your shopping cart. Then in the top right-hand corner, you're going to want to click on the shopping cart button. Now, it's going to open up a new window.
Or if you want an easy experience, you can click the link to Game Toppers, which is actually not actually an easier purchasing experience.
It's like a Kickstarter
They typically
thing.
run Kickstarters.
Right.
But when they do have Kickstarters, definitely recommend you get one of these because they're hella tight.
Anyway, subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored. Bam. It is so fucking hot in here.
This one's got pirate furries.